Arthur stood beneath the majestic arches of Tower Bridge, its giant silhouette looming above him as the fog swirled in the cool evening air. A retired dockworker, he had found solace in this familiar spot for over 3 decades, casting his line into the murky waters of the Thames. As twilight deepened, he unpacked his fishing gear with practiced ease, relishing the rhythmic splash of his lure breaking the surface. Each cast was a meditation, a small reprieve from the weight of years, where he could lose himself to the tranquil sounds of the water and the distant hum of London's life above. The river, with its whispers of forgotten tales and unsung heroes, felt like an old friend. In the solitude of this sacred time, Arthur marveled at the treasures that lay beneath, not just fish, but echoes of the past entwined with hopes and dreams, his and those of countless others who had sought refuge here. Arthur leaned against the weathered stone of Tower Bridge, gazing into the swirling depths of the Thames. The river had witnessed generations of lives woven through its currents, each story melding into the next, like the shimmering water under the dimming light. He often found solace in these reflections, recounting tales passed down from fishermen who had stood in this very spot, their voices echoing in the misty air. They spoke of elusive fish, mythical creatures, and treasures lost beneath the surface, stories that wrapped around his memories like the tendrils of seaweed he would sometimes pull up on his line. With each cast of his fishing rod, Arthur felt a profound connection to the past. The river was both a keeper of secrets and a witness to time's relentless march. The gentle lapping of the water reminded him that though he was alone, he was part of something greater, a tapestry of lives bound together by this steadfast river. Arthur settled into his usual spot beneath the towering arches of Tower Bridge, the rhythm of the Thames providing a familiar soundtrack to his solitude. He methodically prepared his fishing rod, the motion calming his mind as the fog rolled in like a gentle shroud. Each cast felt like an invocation, a thread connecting him to the generations of fishermen who had fished these waters before him. He savored the quiet moments, allowing the gentle tug of the line to remind him of a life rooted in routine. With each flick of his wrist, he felt the weight of expectation, a stillness in the air that held promises of the unknown. The water, dark and brooding, whispered tales of lost treasures and forgotten dreams. Here, time seemed to stand still, and Arthur reveled in the comfort of repetition, where the world beyond was reduced to the simple act of waiting for a bite in the fading light. As Arthur sat on the edge of the quay, the evening fog thickened, curling around his ankles like a whisper. His line cut through the stillness, a familiar motion that brought him solace. But tonight was different. A flash of silver beneath the water's surface caught his eye, shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Intrigued, he began to pull in his line, feeling an unexpected weight. As the lure broke the water's tension, what emerged left him breathless. A small, ornate locket, entwined in strands of kelp. With trembling hands, Arthur lifted the trinket, its silver surface glinting as it caught the fading light. Heart racing, he instinctively wiped away the river's remnants to reveal intricate designs etched into the metal. Cradling the locket as if it were precious, he knew this was more than a mere find. It held the promise of a forgotten story, one that beckoned him to listen. Arthur's fingers trembled slightly as he opened the delicate locket, revealing a faded photograph nestled within. The image depicted a young couple, their faces aglow with joy, seemingly frozen in a moment of unfiltered happiness, their eyes sparkling with dreams vast as the river's expanse above them. As he studied their expressions, Arthur's heart swelled with a mixture of nostalgia and curiosity. He imagined their laughter echoing through the streets of London, weaving through the fog that enveloped the bridge as they danced under twinkling stars. What hopes had they whispered to each other? What futures had they envisioned, hand in hand? In that quiet moment, Arthur found himself enveloped in a tapestry of their story, one filled with love and untold adventures. The river beneath him felt alive, pulsating with the spirits of countless lives intertwined, and he realized that this couple's past resonated deeply within his own yearning heart. Arthur held the silver locket in his weathered hands, the weight of it more than just the metal. It carried the whispers of a love story lost to time. Gazing into the inked clouds above, he felt a surge of longing. What sorrow had led these two souls to part? In that moment, an overwhelming sense of empathy washed over him. He envisioned their lives, shared dreams and laughter reverberating through the years. The river, with its ebb and flow, seemed to beckon him. He felt a deep connection to the very currents that cradled their memories, a reminder of his own past loves and the inevitable goodbyes that life demands. Letting the locket slip through his fingers felt like releasing a piece of his own heart back into the river's embrace. He understood that it deserved to reunite with its rightful owner, just as he had sought closure from cherished memories long gone. As Arthur released the locket back into the river, a gentle breeze rustled the fog around him, almost as if the earth itself were inhaling the moment. Suddenly, the air thickened with whispers, the sounds of laughter weaving through the mist, echoing off the bridge's stone pillars. He closed his eyes, allowing the snapshots of emotion to wash over him. Soft melodies of an old song dancing in the air, intertwining with the joyful chatter of the couple whose love had once thrived. Each sound enveloped him in memories. The rhythm of their life together became a vibrant tapestry against the backdrop of his own solitude. Arthur visualized them twirling beneath the moonlight, carefree and entwined in dreams. It struck him that the river was a vessel of not only his solitude, but also of love stories long forgotten. Their essence lingered there, reminding him that life was not just about loss, but also about the enduring connections that flow through time. Arthur stood in the shifting shadows beneath Tower Bridge, a timeless witness to both past and present. As the echoes of laughter and music lingered in his mind, he found himself lost in reverie. The smile of the couple from the locket mirrored the warmth of his own long-lost love, their faces a gentle reminder of cherished moments. He closed his eyes, weaving together fragments of his history. A first dance beneath a blooming cherry tree, the laughter that spilled over at summer picnics, and whispered dreams that had long since faded. The river, with its eternal flow, seemed to absorb his memories, carrying them away while offering new currents of possibility. Arthur felt a bittersweet ache as he remembered friends lost to the tides of time, yet within that sorrow blossomed a quiet acceptance. He understood now that each story, linked like the gentle ripples on the water's surface, was an integral part of life's grand tapestry, waiting to be told anew. Arthur stood beneath the towering arches of Tower Bridge, enveloped in the gentle lull of twilight. The soft murmur of the Thames beckoned him as he closed his eyes, imagining the melodies that once filled the air. In the solitude of the fading day, he found himself swaying to an invisible rhythm, the ghostly strains of a bygone era wrapping around him like a warm embrace. With each imagined note, he recalled the laughter of dances long past, where joy surged through the air like ripples on the water. In that moment, he felt the weight of his heart soften, even as shadows crept in to remind him of loneliness. It was a bittersweet dance, honoring the beauty of fleeting moments while acknowledging the quiet ache of solitude. Yet, as he swayed, he sensed a connection to the lives around him, each beat a reminder that, though time pulls us apart, the music of our experiences continues to play, echoing through the ages. As night deepened, shadows consumed the remnants of twilight, leaving Arthur adrift in his thoughts. He stared into the swirling waters, memories surfacing like boats from the mist, friends lost to time, laughter fading, faces once vibrant now mere echoes. Each ripple in the Thames seemed to carry a piece of his past, a reminder of the warmth of camaraderie that once filled his days. Arthur recalled Jimmy, his dear mate from the docks, who told stories louder than the roar of the city, and Margaret, who danced like a firefly on warm summer nights. Time had pulled them away, like the tide sweeping treasures to the depths. Yet even in this solitude, a profound understanding settled within him. Each loss shaped him, carving out spaces for new connections. As the sounds of laughter and music wafted from the city above, he felt the bittersweet sting of nostalgia and the gentle embrace of acceptance. The evening deepened, and a cool breeze swept over the river, carrying with it the distant sounds of London nightlife. The fog thickened, swirling around the glowing lights of the city, which twinkled like stars fallen to earth. The soft murmur of laughter, clinking glasses, and snippets of music floated under the bridge, a reminder of life bustling just above. Arthur, still standing at the water's edge, watched as silhouettes of pedestrians drifted across the bridge, their joy contrasting sharply with his reflective solitude. He felt the pull of those far-off voices, a bittersweet reminder that while he stood alone, the city itself thrummed with connection and vibrancy. The memories of shared laughs and warm embraces washed over him, mingling with the mist. For every moment lost, new possibilities emerged, he realized. The pulse of the river mirrored the rhythm of life, an eternal dance, urging him to cherish the moments that remain as twilight surrendered to night. As Arthur lingered beneath the towering arches of Tower Bridge, lost in the echoes of laughter and whispered promises, he noticed a familiar silhouette emerging from the fog, a fellow fisherman named Tom. They hadn't crossed paths in years, yet the sight of Tom brought a rush of warmth to Arthur's heart. "Arthur, I thought I'd find you here," Tom greeted, his voice a raspy melody against the bustling backdrop of London nightlife. The two men exchanged knowing smiles, their bond rekindling like an old flame. As they settled on the riverbank, they shared stories of long-lost hauls and the changing tides of their lives. Tom spoke of a granddaughter and the joy of teaching her the art of fishing, laughter intertwining with nostalgia. Arthur, buoyed by the unexpected reunion, realized that their connection rekindled the warmth of companionship amid the night's chill, a reminder that even in solitude, life brings new encounters and shared stories, bridging the gaps of time. Arthur stood beneath the vast expanse of Tower Bridge, the river quietly murmuring beneath him, still resonating with the whispers of the couple from the locket. Suddenly, the familiar sound of a line being cast nearby caught his attention. He turned and saw an old acquaintance, George, who had shared many a fishing tale with him over the years. "Arthur, it's been ages," George called, his face breaking into a warm smile. They embraced, relishing the comfort of companionship in the evening's solitude. As they set up their gear, stories began to flow. George recounted a recent trip to the coast, filled with laughter and mishaps, while Arthur shared the tale of his magical locket find. In the midst of their exchanges, Arthur realized how powerful shared narratives could be, weaving threads of connection that transcended time. The laughter and camaraderie warmed him, reminding him that even in solitude, stories of old could spark new connections.